Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
How are you, Stefan? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for doing this. I know it's kind of weird.
Yeah. What better time to do this, you know?
I was just going to say, yeah, you're kind of in the heart of all this, aren't you?
I certainly am.
How is that? I mean, it must be wild. Are you in New York City?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn, which is apparently the borough with the most cases in the city with the most cases.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So Brooklyn has the most as far as neighborhoods go, too?
I guess.
Oh, my goodness. Is it bizarre looking outside? Like, is there anyone out?
Well, I live near, like, 1 block away from a street that's usually pretty busy, and it's dead.
Oh, wow. That's a trip, man. Yeah, we're in San Diego, so California's on lockdown, too, but we just haven't got hit nearly as hard as you have in New York.
Well, just the density here is...
Oh, yeah. It's unreal how many people are there. I mean, I lived in San Francisco for 5 years, and I thought that was bad, but you guys are like double what San Francisco was, at least.
Yeah, we're the highest density in the country. So.
Yeah. Well, did you grow up in New York? Are you originally from New York?
I'm from Western Massachusetts.
Okay. So that's where you were born and raised?
Mm-hmm. Northampton, Massachusetts, which is like a big music town.
Oh, yeah. Really?
It's like a tour hub. So a lot of bands would come through there whenever they had a free night between Philly or New York or Boston.
Cool.
I saw every band that I ever wanted to see.
Really?
Like come to a venue that was walking distance from my house. It was amazing.
That is amazing. That's so cool. How did you get into music originally?
I mean, I guess like way back, like, you know, climbing up on the piano bench when I was like 4, and then I started taking cello lessons when I was like 6, and
wow,
changed to guitar and got into songwriting when I was like 12. Mm-hmm. So,
was there something that sparked that, or you just had the interest?
I think it was because I wanted to learn how to play dispatch songs. Because I was really into them in 6th grade. So that's
cool.
Yeah.
That was kind of you saw that and that's when you wanted to be a musician?
Something like that.
Cool.
We also went to folk festivals when I was growing up. So that was
really? Tell me about that. It's like a family thing? Yeah,
mainly this one called Falcon Ridge Folk Festival in upstate New York. And we'd go and we'd camp out and see the same people every year. It was like very earthy, crunchy, hippie, you know, like a lot of like young people in tie dye and
nice
that type of situation. A lot of like early adopters of like people wearing hemp and things of that nature. But it was just like amazing to see music for like 8-9 hours a day for a whole weekend.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
And then my parents would buy the albums and I hear them at home, and it was like he had a really big influence in my, not only like my taste in music, but also my songwriting style. And, you know, folk music has deep roots and it holds tightly to them. So, that tradition is something that I aspire to, continue.
That's cool. So you started playing, I mean, really early. I mean, you're writing songs at 12. And
they weren't good,
but still, I mean, you had something there. At 12, I wasn't writing music. I could tell you that. But yeah, so you were writing songs at 12. When was the first time you performed live, like performed in front of people?
I think I was 14.
Okay, 14.
Well, like I performed at like a talent show when I was like 11. But
okay. Do you remember that? Tell me about that.
Well, I sang a dispatch song.
Oh, nice. Of course.
The song, The General.
Okay.
It was awesome. I mean, it was just me up on stage, and I didn't know how to play guitar at the time, and I couldn't get anybody to play with me. Oh. So I just sang it a cappella.
That's cool. That's brave.
It was fun. It was awesome. And then when I was 14, it was like a school thing. It was like a fundraiser for Amnesty International or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like one of the first songs that I'd written that I felt confident about. And the room got super excited. And so I was like, oh, this feels great. Like, I'm going to do this more.
Yeah. And then that's when you kind of caught the bug for it.
Totally.
And from there, when you were in grade school and high school and stuff, were you playing in bands, or were you always just kind of doing your own solo stuff?
Some bands, but I got really into recording at home.
Oh, okay. So you had your own setup at home.
Mm-hmm, and like layering a bunch of instruments and a bunch of voices, and I'd have friends come and play on things. I mean, it was like a one mic and like a cheap interface, but it got the job.
But it did it, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And you're learning. That's cool.
Yeah, and I still go back to those recordings every once in a while, and it's cool to be like, oh, what was I doing like almost 15 years ago?
Sure, yeah. So you have those still. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to hear about your journey in your solo career, and when did you really start? When did you decide this is going to be your career path?
Well, I went to NYU for audio engineering and music business.
Oh wow! So you're very, very smart.
I don't know.
Well, that's really cool. So you got into NYU and you're going there for what would you say, music production?
Music production, business, engineering, like all audio business, like audio engineering.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing program, and I was in a band while I was there, and we toured around the country and like learned a lot from that experience too.
Oh, really? You were still in college?
Yeah.
Where did was this just like a indie band? Like, were you guys picked up by a label, or?
Oh no, we were indie at the time.
And you were able to go across the whole country?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. The guitarist in the band had played some national tours. He's like a true genius, and he played like national tours and booked them as a teenager. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I learned a ton from him. And my co-lead singer was Phoebe Ryan. Do you know about her?
No.
She's a rising pop star at the moment. She's doing really well out in LA.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check her out.
Super, super proud. She's an incredible songwriter, and I learned so much from her.
Nice.
She's amazing.
And she was in your band, you said? Mm-hmm. She was like, cool.
And so, once I got out of college, I thought I was going to be a folk musician and like started booking gigs, but then shit hit the fan for me with medical stuff. I'm not sure.
I saw a little bit about on you had some chronic pain and stuff.
Yeah. And it was totally debilitating, and I couldn't figure out what was going on for about 4 years.
That is awful. So, I mean, I had chronic pain for a few years, and I ended up having to get surgery on my neck. Like I had a spinal thing.
Oh God.
And it was god awful, but it sounds like you had something you couldn't even like pinpoint.
No, I mean, I eventually had to go to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, which is like this world-renowned hospital that I just happened to have really amazing insurance at the time through my job, and was able to go there, and they figured it out. Wow. And then I'd been doing rehabilitation for like 2.5 years, and finally feel like myself again, which is pretty cool.
That's great. And it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah, basically.
Wow. That's awful. I can't imagine.
I would get a real injury, and then it would become phantom after it had healed. So it felt like it was still there, but nobody could see it.
Oh, wow. Oh, so your brain was still telling you that it was hurt, but it was already had healed. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. And it's
fucked up phenomenon.
Yeah. And that seems like, from what I was reading on it, it's kind of a fairly new thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So none of the doctors in New York really knew about it. And I came back and said, hey, this is what I have. And they were like, never would have given you that diagnosis.
Yeah. Wow. That must have been frustrating going to different doctors and having them say, what, did they just think you were making it up? Like, I mean,
some of them maybe did. I mean, they were just totally stumped, you know. It was I went to like 24 doctors of all different specialties, and none of them could figure it out. But
I'm glad that they did finally figure it out, man.
Awesome.
That's crazy.
But the cool thing that happened is that, you know, for the first year of that, I couldn't play guitar. My arms were fucked up, but I could still sing.
Oh, wow.
So that inspired me to start working with producers and make pop music.
That's cool.
It changed like my musical trajectory.
I was going to ask you about that because the songs that I've listened to aren't very folky. They're pretty poppy and electronic. So that's when you kind of made the switch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
but
that
I
was
still like approach pop music from like this folk history and like, folk influence for sure.
So when you were working with those producers that you had kind of gotten, was that after the diagnosis or prior?
No, the diagnosis, that was 3 years before the diagnosis.
Oh, wow. So you were in the heat of the chronic pain, and that's why you decided to go just stop playing guitar and just focus on voice.
But then when my throat got fucked up, then I just had to like wince my way through recording sessions and writing sessions and do them as infrequently as possible. So it was rough.
Yeah. At that point, did you have like a network of people that you were writing with and stuff, or was you were still pretty on your own?
Same two producers who I'm still working with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We've been working together for like 6 years.
That's incredible.
And yeah, I mean, we all know, it's so easy to work together. We all know what each other wants and doesn't want. And it's been awesome.
That's amazing. That's really cool. So tell me about so you had so from there you're working with these two producers, and when was like the big break for you? When did your career kind of churn and then it was like, this is actually something I can achieve. Like labels are looking at me, people are, interested in me.
Well, the weird thing is that happened in 2016.
So before everything happened.
Well, in the middle of it.
In the middle of it. Wow.
So I had recorded this song called Skeleton, and I had to, I was like wasted during the recording session so I could get through it because it was
pain was too bad.
Yeah. But we got it. We put it out. It got playlisted on Spotify and racked up like 1 million plays. And
that's so crazy.
So we had people biting, but I was basically like, what am I supposed to do? I can't follow this up. Like I can't perform. I can barely write any more material. Like,
oh my gosh.
So
that must have been awful. I mean, you write a song that gets 1 million plays on Spotify, and then now, you're kind of put out because you can't do anything as far as performing wise goes.
Exactly. That's awful. I know how important that is, and how, you can't just be a recording artist anymore. It's not really, not really an option in this new, climate of music industry. So how did that song, you guys just put it up on Spotify, and do you know how it kind of got fire? I don't really know, or it just kind of happened organically? I guess. I mean, it was a Spotify curated playlist. I don't know
what happened there.
I don't exactly know, but maybe my manager knew somebody that was able to help us. But it was it was wild.
Yeah,
I mean, people still listen to that song consistently, and it's cool.
That is really cool.
I'm proud that it's stayed in people's consciousness for so long.
Yeah.
But now, putting out new material, it's sort of like starting from square one because
the years in between Skeleton coming out and now. Yeah. So you put that track out, you said 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you were sick, like, did you have to kind of reprove yourself, or was everybody kind of still behind you? Like at that point, like you're saying, like labels,
like professionally,
professionally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like everybody's like, oh, well, you did that back then, but can you do that now? So, like, I'm still working towards that. And,
was there a lot of pressure there, you think?
I mean, the funny thing, like for me, like it got to the point where my dream had to get so small, like when I was sick, that it was just sort of like, okay, if I can play music in my bedroom again, like I'll be content. Like, like who cares if I make this a career? Like, I just want to be able to like have that catharsis and, speak through my voice and through my guitar or whatever instrument I'm playing, and just like do what I've been doing for 10 plus years. So
Sure.
like at this point, everything is just icing on the cake. And like, I don't feel like the pressure of time. I work at a music, commercial music house.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And sing on jingles and stuff, which is super fun.
Nice. You get to write jingles too?
I haven't written them. It's really hard for me to write them because they have to be so overtly positive.
Yeah, and kind of corny.
And I just love, like, I mean, for me, the stuff that inspires me is anything with conflict. So like, and you have to completely eradicate any type of conflict from a jingle. Like it has to be saccharine and like you have everything you want because you have this product in your hand.
Sure. So you've sang on jingles? That's cool.
I'll sing them, but I don't write them.
Do you like any notable ones that you could think of?
The latest one was Traveler's Insurance, and that one was really fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was that was great. And then we'll see if there are any in the future, but
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you have a new record coming out April 3rd.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tell me about that.
It's being postponed due to
the coronavirus.
Exactly. It'll probably be out in like mid-April now. Okay. Because I had to cancel my release show and I had to just
everybody's got I mean, I feel so bad for the music industry right now. Nobody can do anything.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Austin. They lost hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. Yeah.
I mean, all of those huge festivals that got shut down. Coachella got shut down. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Cannes in France. Pushed back like 6 months, and it's
wild.
The Olympics. I mean,
I know the Olympics are postponed till next year. Like, wow. But so you do have a record coming out. The record's
record coming out. Yes, it's very much done.
So tell me about you're writing your new album.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's interesting because like some of those songs are really old. Some of those songs I wrote before shit got really bad.
Yeah,
So the song "Photograph" I wrote in 2015. And that song just came out. But then Cry Again I wrote in like 2019 and that just came out. So it's an interesting experience. And like, I'm looking forward to a record that's like created in a short amount of time where like it feels more, at least like time wise, more cohesive to me. But like, I still feel like this album, I'm glad that the songs are together in the way that they are, regardless of when I wrote them.
Right. because of the gap there, and like you said, songs that you've written in 2015 are on this new album. Are you constantly writing? So you probably have a catalog of new stuff.
Totally.
Ready to go.
Yeah. I have like 15 new songs that I could record.
So,
which is great.
So, yeah. I was going to ask you, like, is that something you're going to have to juggle? Like, when you have to kind of let this record breathe a little bit, right? When it comes out. So are you just going to have stuff ready to go?
Well, but then I can, the other benefit of, taking this long hiatus is that I've been able to sing again since like 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't able to perform, but I could sing in the studio. And then 2019, I was performing again. So like we were able to sort of backlog things, and a lot of this stuff has been recorded for several years. That's just coming out now.
Yeah. Wild. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fun. It's like a lot of stuff to look forward to. And I like having so much time because I can pick and choose, and like some of the songs I can throw them out and like really make sure that I'm as proud as I can be of what I put out into the world. Sure.
Have you done any touring as just your solo stuff?
I have been to a couple like northeastern cities other than New York, but I've just been playing a bunch in the city.
Okay.
Just sort of like get comfortable again. I mean, it had been so long since I'd performed.
Sure. Yeah.
And, performing with this project instead of performing folk music, it's just a whole different ballgame. But now that, I've had a year to play a bunch and feel solid about my stage presence and whatnot. Like now, well, the spring was supposed to be all about going to different cities.
Sure. Obviously.
So yeah, who knows when that'll happen, but, I'm excited to get back out again. And for now it's, I'm playing shows for the whole world on Instagram Live.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So that you've been taking to Instagram Live, doing that type of those kind of stay-at-home concerts.
Exactly.
I love that though. That's so cool. I think and as much as it's weird, like doing interviews like this, like I'd much rather be talking to you in person. But it's kind of cool to see behind. Like I'm looking into your house. Like it's kind of cool. It's like it's almost like everybody's quarantined, but it's like a little bit more behind the curtain now with people.
Absolutely.
Like when you're playing, just like flipping through and seeing other artists playing live on their feed and stuff. It's really cool. And you'll just set up there in your house and do it.
Yeah. I mean, my setup is very basic. It's just me and a guitar. So like, I just plug into my little mini amp and
play some tunes. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Do you have a schedule? Like, are you doing it like every Thursday, or are you just doing it as you go?
Sort of just as I go. I mean, I'm trying to make them into like little mini fundraisers and like put like some sort of organization or like a GoFundMe or whatever into my bio so people can contribute. Especially to like all these freelancers and all these musicians I know that are just totally screwed right now. And
I know. I feel so bad for just anybody that's in that, and anybody in, like you said, like their own, it's not connected to a corporation. I can't think of the word right now. Independent contractor, freelancer. There you go.
Everybody from, burlesque performers and drag artists. And I mean, just literally anybody. It's
anybody. Yeah. There's so many people that are out of work right now. It's so unfortunate. But that's really cool that you're doing those live streams. I want to check it out for sure.
It's fun. I mean, and I'm trying to, learn more material and maybe get some of these new songs into the mix, even though they haven't been produced yet. Try things out and see what people respond to. It's cool because I mean, even though you're playing for the whole world in a way, like it's also very low stakes because you could do it whenever you want.
Right. It's
you
kind
don't
of on
have
your terms.
Yeah. Like I'm in a place where I feel so comfortable, like my own bedroom. So why not?
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's so cool. Yeah, it was funny. My wife was reading your bio, and she's like, "You need to talk to him about the dating apps." And I laugh because, well, it's funny because my wife and I met on a dating app. We met
Amazing.
We met on Tinder, which is hilarious.
That's wonderful.
But what's hilarious about it is like, so we like, because before I haven't been on it in years, but it used to tell you how many mutual friends and stuff you had, and we found out that like we both ended up going to the same. We went to the same high school and to the same college. Like, we just never knew. Our school was massive. Like,
okay. I was gonna say
there was like 1,200 kids in my graduating class alone.
Whoa!
Yeah,
in high school.
In high school, we had this behemoth of a high school. It was insane.
Where was that?
San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually had like the largest graduating class in like San Diego history or whatever. Then they added like
congratulations.
They added like 3 more schools like within years of that to kind of stop it. But anyways, so we met on there, and she wanted me to ask you about that. Yeah.
Well, so the song Photograph that came out a couple months ago is literally about Tinder.
That's so funny.
I mean, and just about, it's hard because I think Tinder is very different in the gay world than it is in the straight world. But it also like sort of morphs and changes, and like for a while Tinder was like more of like the going steady app, like people looking for relationships. And now apparently in the straight world, it's much more like the hookup app.
Yeah.
But it's like flipped where now in the gay world, it's much more about relationships. So
that's very interesting. Yeah.
It's weird how separate they are and how they sort of operate on different, in different universes.
Right. Totally. Yeah. The same app working totally different for.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, just about how, like, while dating apps have been awesome for me, I mean, I've met so many different people that I wouldn't have ever met before, and people from all over the world, a lot of people that like are recently immigrated to the United States, like just all kinds of people that I never would have come in contact with, let alone dated for a significant amount of time. But the other side of that is that it's like this weird ego game, and like you also can really fall into a wormhole and like start creating these like imaginary relationships with people that you never meet, and because like, well, that they're looking for something, but are they looking for you? Like,
yeah, totally. Yeah, I love that you said something along the lines of like, if a few pictures and like 3 sentences that you have to decide whether you like the person or not.
Exactly. That's hard, but it also, I mean, it's hard and it's also easy. It's like, okay, I can make a snap judgment and be like, yes or no.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's very, very, very infrequently where you're like, pause and you're like, I wonder.
Let me look longer at these photos and see how I really feel.
Really make a true calculation. That never happens. So like when you do swipe right on somebody and you have seen 5 pictures and you've read 3 sentences, and if you let your imagination run, you can build a whole person around
totally. Yeah.
That very limited material, and just assume that everything else about them is perfect and great and exactly what you would want in a partner. Like,
sure. Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. And
because anybody could be anybody online.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could write whatever you want. You could put up pictures that aren't even you. And
Oh my God, yes.
Wild. Did you ever run into one of those situations, like a catfish?
I did on Grindr, but not on Tinder.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Tinder is for the trustworthy among us.
Sure. Okay. The other one isn't.
Maybe not.
That's hilarious.
But I think there's also element, when you're a queer person and you're coming out in your early 20s or late teens or whatever, the concept of like delayed adolescence, and like you are sort of like for me, I was like 21, but I was at the romantic maturity of like a 13-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Like, I mean, there's no way to actually like quantify that, but
right. But I kind of understand what you're saying, because you couldn't be comfortable, or you weren't out to everybody to be comfortable with that, and
I wasn't, like having that high school experience of like, well, I was pursuing crushes, but they were to women, and it was just it never worked.
Right. Yeah. So it wasn't like you had those adolescent little like puppy love story type things because of the situation.
Exactly. So like you have to like you quickly build up this part of yourself that has been lying dormant for a while, and hope that it can catch up with the maturity of the rest of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in this age of dating apps, like that creates a whole nother can of worms.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah. Well, we're excited about the new album.
Me too.
I can't. Hopefully, you'll be able to come out here soon to perform.
Yes,
I don't know. We're in San Diego. I don't know if LA was one of your stops, but hopefully.
Oh yeah.
Or San Diego would be better, but we can.
Well, sure.
LA.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely in the future, and coming to LA to work with other producers and do writing sessions, and I mean, LA is sort of the pop music mecca. So
that's cool.
I definitely plan to spend some time out there too.
Right on. Well, I have one more question for you if you have time. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
So I think it's to write about what you know and what you're passionate about, rather than what you think someone wants to hear.
I like that.
Because if you are attached with and excited about your material and feel like can hold it close and hold it in your heart, like you're going to perform better. You're going to be more excited about putting it out. You're going to be more excited about promoting it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're sharing, a part of yourself.
Bringing it backward.